Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
Welcome to Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. Corey Kluber, the former Cy Young Award winner, pitching on extra rest. He was scheduled to pitch on Friday night, dealing with a stiff neck. They pushed him back to Sunday, and he's on the mound as the Indians try to sweep the Blue Jays in this 3-game series. Terrific game last night. A walk-off home run by Francisco Lindor. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons in the 2 spot. Josh Donaldson moves up to second. He's put up big numbers against Corey Kluber. A home run, 5 RBIs, plus he's hit a home run off Kluber last year in the ALCS. And Justin Smoke. Nobody's hotter on the Blue Jays right now than Justin Smoke, batting .462 during his 7-game hit streak. And they face Corey Kluber, who's had his problems over the years with this Toronto lineup.
Justin Smoke's average is now up over 300. Corey Kluber, 31-year-old, makes his 16th start of the season. This is also his 150th start of his career and 155th appearance of his career. Last time out against Oakland, he pitched on July the 15th at Oakland. He's pitching on 7 days rest. In that start, he had 12 strikeouts, no walks. That's the 8th double-digit strikeout performance of the season for Kluber. You mentioned the numbers against the Blue Jays. This is his 6th career start against Toronto. This is his first this year. Lifetime, he's 1-3 with an ERA up over 5 versus the Blue Jays. So in the regular season, they've had some success against Kluber.
That ERA at 3.34 is the highest for Kluber against any opponent he's faced in 3 or more starts. So they have hit him well. In fact, they roughed him up in Game 4 of the ALCS. I said 5.34. It is 5.34. That's his ERA against the Blue Jays. Bautista steps in. Here's the first pitch. He swings and bounces it to short. Lindor throws to first. 1 away. Well, with Jay Happ on the mound, they made some changes in their outfield. Abraham Almonte moves to center, making a 6th start in center, and Brandon Guyer isn't right. On the infield, they've got some great athletes from first to third.
You just saw a great one right there. Francisco Lindor has played in 94 of a possible 96 games now. Made a 7th error last night, but he won his first Gold Glove last season. He's also the Platinum Glove winner in the American League as the best overall fielder. He's also 9th in the American League last year in the MVP race. And of course, he won the game last night. He's a sensational young player.
Hit his first career walk-off home run in the 10th. Here is Josh Donaldson. I mentioned he had a home run in Game 4 of the ALCS last year off Corey Kluber. Takes one outside. Kluber pitching on extra rest, as we mentioned. His last start came out in Oakland against the A's on last Saturday. He had 12 strikeouts in 7 1/3 innings.
He was dealing. He ended up with a no decision in that game because he gave up a home run the first pitch in the 8th inning. Dead center field into the upper tank. There it is, the 8th inning. Gave up that home run. It tied up the ball game, so he got a no decision.
No walks, 12 strikeouts, and Corey Kluber. We mentioned he won a Cy Young Award in his first full season pitching for the Indians. That was in 2014. Donaldson fouls it back. Kluber was originally drafted by the San Diego Padres, came to Cleveland in a July 31st deal in 2010. Part of a 3-team trade. Key components: Ryan Ludwig went to San Diego. Jake Westbrook went to the St. Louis Cardinals. Bounced over the mound. Lindor bare hands fires just in time. Nice play by Santana to dig it out of the dirt. Boy, Lindor took a page out of Donaldson's book and barehanded it through all in one motion.
Yeah, and took a hit away from Josh Donaldson. That's the athleticism that we were talking about when we spoke of Lindor. He had a long way to go. There were 2 strikes on Donaldson, so he was back out on the outfield grass, and here he comes hard charging. Knows he doesn't have time to put it in his glove and then into his bare hand. Just take it, fire it over there in one motion. And then on the other end, Santana digs it out for the play at first base. Blue Jays were thinking of looking at this one, but you can see from that replay, Josh was out.
Justin Smoak batting third this afternoon. Smoak's got a 7-game hit streak, batting .462 during those 7 games, including 4 home runs, obviously, all coming on this road trip. He homered last night off Andrew Miller, batting right-handed in the 8th inning to tie it. Pat Manchin, Smoak enters this game batting .302 for the season. And they're not giving in to him very often.
You know what? All you have to do is look at the numbers that he has put up on the road trip. And right now, he's really the only guy providing some power and some production for the Blue Jays. So why would you pitch to him?
It's a high fly ball. Brantley came in a couple of steps. Now he backs up. He's got the sunglasses on and makes the catch. Good start for Corey Kluber. 3 up, 3 down, no problem. Jay Happ will take the mound when we come back to Cleveland. Team on Friday after the All-Star break. He is healthy and happy to be back. The Indians are in first place, and that'll make the manager smile. Carlos Santana leading off, then Francisco Lindor. He hit the game-winning home run last night in the 10th inning, and over his last 6 games, he's been swinging the bat well. And down in the 7th spot in the lineup, Abraham Almonte. He's in center field today. His last 9 games hitting nearly 300. He's done some damage. Double, triple, and a pair of home runs.
They will face Jay Happ, who gets ready for his 13th start of the season. He's 3-6 with a .355 earned run average. Last time out, it looked like he was going to cruise into the 7th inning against Boston. But then they started wearing him down, and Jay was only able to go 5 innings. He actually left that game with the lead 3-2. But still picked up a no decision versus the Red Sox. This is his first start versus Cleveland this season. He's 3-1 in 5 starts with 25 strikeouts and 28 1/3 innings in his career versus the Indians.
Happ making his 7th start on the road. He has pitched well away from Rogers Center this season. Carlos Santana, one of 4 switch hitters in the lineup this afternoon. Santana batting right-handed against Jay Happ. He's a versatile player. They can use him in the leadoff spot. They have had Bradley Zimmer there in the first 2 games. There's a base hit to center for Santana. So Francisco Lindor will bat with the man aboard and nobody out. Last night he connected for his 15th home run of the season, a game winner against Danny Barnes.
Said he wasn't trying to hit a home run. He was trying to get on base, but he got a pitch to his liking, about a bell-high fastball. Uppercut, see you later. No chance for that one to come back, and what a celebration at the plate. This is an Indians team that has been looking for some kind of spark this whole season, something to spark them so they can get on a winning streak, a long winning streak. And talking to some of the guys today, they think that maybe that right there, that walk-off win and the excitement, and you saw it at the end of that play when he got to home plate, maybe that's the spark they needed.
Pushes the bunt up the first baseline. Barney's going to not get there in time. As Smoke just fields it. He had no play. Lindor with a bunt last night or this afternoon to start the game, and it's first and second.
Such a heads-up play by Lindor. You've got a left-hander on the mound who will fall off to the third base side, push the ball up towards the first base side, and your race is between the second baseman and yourself. Barney was shading him up the middle. He was going to try and get Smoke to field the ball, and then it's a foot race between Lindor, who can really run, and the second baseman, and he's going to win this one. Smoke does the right thing and just holds on to the baseball.
What a heads-up play by Lindor. 2 on, no outs for Michael Brantley, who had a couple of hits in last night's game. He was 2 for 3 with a double. There's a base hit. Santana read it perfectly. He got a terrific break from second, and he'll come around to score. 3 straight hits for the Indians, and they have a 1-0 lead.
Not wasting any time. Jay Happ has thrown 4 pitches, and they've had 3 base hits. It's a great read by Santana. It's not hit very hard by Brantley off the end of the bat, but Santana got a great break. Read it off the bat that Pilar was not going to make a play on it, and he scores without a throw easily.
Boy, that's a terrific read by Santana. Brantley picks up the RBI, his 42nd of the season. Still nobody out for Edwin Encarnacion.
Last time Jay Happ pitched against the Indians was last July. Remember this game? Blue Jays won it 17-1. He was outstanding.
Ball on his strike. Well, you talk about the Indians. They won 13-3 on Friday, fueled by 15 hits and a couple of home runs. Edwin Encarnacion had a big game Friday night. 3 for 4 with 4 ribbies.
Just haven't put it together offensively, but the Indians are just too good. They've got too many good hitters, too many good athletes to be held down.
Two and one now. Well, this top of the order, they can put a hurting on you quickly. Santana leading off, then Lindor, 2 switch hitters, and then the lefty Michael Brantley, who hits well against left-handed pitching.
Which will create a ton of opportunities for Encarnacion to drive in runs. We talked about that on Friday night, that he has left a lot of runners on base this year. He just hasn't gotten into a groove himself. Came into this series leaving 154 runners on base, 3rd most in the American League.
There's a fly ball to center. Lindor is going back to tag. Pilar unloads. Lindor will hold at second. First out of the inning. Defensively, in the outfield is Pierce, Pilar, and Bautista. Donaldson and Smoke at the corners, and Montero behind the plate.
Last time Montero was on this field, Game 7 of the World Series. He was with the Cubs. And he's back out here today to catch Jay Happ. You got to figure that the Indians are going to try and run on him. They've got a lot of stolen bases. He's going to have to shut down the running game this afternoon.
Well, they're keeping an eye on Lindor at second for sure. He had an aggressive lead in the Encarnacion at bat. So here's Jose Ramirez. This is the first time that Miguel Montero has caught J-Happ. Just his 5th start for the Blue Jays. Trying to get on the same page here in the first inning. 2-0. Well, certainly with Corey Kluber on the mound, you don't want to give the Indians much of a head start. They already have a 1-0 lead.
And there's Montero back out there. I think he's really worried about Lindor stealing signs or giving location. This is the second time this inning that he has gone out there to change the signs or talk about what they want to do in this at bat. And you can see he told him verbally what he wants Happ to throw.
Check swing. The appeal to first is denied by the first base umpire, Quinn Wolcott. So it's a 3-0 count to Ramirez, and don't be surprised if he's got the green light. He's got good plate discipline. He doesn't chase too many bad pitches. Off the plate, ball 4. That'll load the bases. So the bases are loaded in the first with just 1 out. Brandon Guyer, who has started in right field this afternoon, will bat against Happ. He's faced Happ a lot. He's just 2 for 16 going up against the lefty.
He is right on top of the plate and strides right towards the plate. So you got to be good with your command. He is not afraid to take one for the team. J-Happ's just trying to find himself right now. He just doesn't have his release point. Normally we don't see this from him. Talked about his last start, and it looked like he was going to have a good one, cruising against the Boston Red Sox, but then he was actually knocked out in the 5th inning, threw 100 pitches against the Red Sox. They really started bearing down on him.
That was on Tuesday against Brian Johnson, the lefty. Dyer pops it up back behind home. It'll be over the screen and out of play. Guyer has put up good numbers with the bases loaded. He's 6 for 13 with the bases loaded.
Don't try and do too much with the ball. Just put the bat on the baseball, keep it in play, try not to strike out. There are the numbers you were just talking about. Does not have a grand slam to his credit. But he's a tough out. The Indians have been looking for some right-handed pop in the outfield. There was some talk about J.D. Martinez from the Tigers coming here. He eventually went to Arizona.
There's that inside pitch, and he misses the inside corner. It's 2-1.
Yeah, be careful if you're going to go in there against Brandon Guyer, because he's right on top of the plate again, and he strides into the plate. He's been hit numerous times by the Blue Jays over the years.
Guyer was hit 31 times last year. Cut on and missed. It's 2-2. Brandon Guyer, coming into this season, had been hit 66 times. He stands right on the plate, and he's not afraid to take one for the team.
Not at all, especially in the leg area. If you try and come inside, down and in, he'll just sit there and get hit.
There's a ball that hadn't been picked up back behind home plate. The ball boy retrieves it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A run in here as Michael Brantley has an RBI single, and Cleveland has a 1-0 lead, and they threaten to score more with the bases loaded. That ball is driven to the alley and left, and that's going to score 2 for sure. Ramirez is headed for third. He's going to come in to score, and Guyer delivers a 3-run double. And Cleveland has put up 4 runs here in the bottom of the first.
The bullpen has been weary. They have thrown a lot on this road trip, so the Blue Jays need some innings from their starter. And the Indians are starting hot, on fire.
The Indians on Friday night had a 4-run 5th inning and an 8-run 7th inning, and Brandon Guyer jumps on this fastball.
It's like he tried to cut the ball inside to get it on the ground to try and get out of the inning. He left it up too much. And Ramirez, another very good base running. Look at him, he is almost right up the back of Michael Brantley, scoring the 4th run of the inning. He got a good read on that ball.
Abraham Almonte, another switch hitter, hitting .290 over his last 9 games. This is popped up. Montero over near the seats. It's back out of play up on the screen. J-Happ has not had problems over the course of the season. In his first 12 starts, he's allowed a total of 4 earned runs. Today, in the first inning, he's allowed 4 earned runs, and there's still just 1 out.
I tell you, those games like last night can just ignite you. The Indians won in a blowout on Friday. They won an emotional game last night. They're coming out swinging this afternoon.
Well, you talk about a spark, and it may have been that Lindor home run. They had a laugher on Friday night when they won 13-3, and then they won an extra inning game on that home run by Lindor. And they've come out smoking this afternoon. Line to Goins, and he spears it for the 2nd out of the inning. The Indians are on everything here in the first.
Are they ever? I don't know if that ball was knuckling out towards Goins, but the sure hands of Ryan Goins just saved another run. That is tougher than it looks. That play right there, he has to field it off to the side because it looked like it might have been moving on him. Yeah, you could see him say that right there. That thing was knuckling on me. Thank goodness those great hands that he has, or the Blue Jays would be down another run.
Yan Gomes signed with the Blue Jays in 2009. Played in the minor leagues with the Jays, and then he was dealt to Cleveland in 2012, along with Mike Aviles for Esmil Rogers. The Indians have been clutch in this series. They are now 10 for 23, batting with runners in scoring position in the 3 games. Holmes hits it to Donaldson, takes his time, fires, and that ends the inning. But Cleveland breaks out on top, 4 runs on 4 hits, and a 3-run double by Brandon Guyer.
Admittedly, he just ran out of gas. There's a lot on Estrada's mind these days. The trade deadline only 8 days away. He's on an expiring contract. He's not sure what's next, but Estrada told me, look, it's one of those situations. Obviously, you can't control what's going to happen. Estrada said, I'm happy here. I don't want to leave, but if it happens, it happens. Estrada, of course, has struggled of late with location, not to mention being unable to get deep into games, which brings up how valuable a trade chip he could be. Even Marco admitted, I'm not pitching good anyways, so I don't know. We'll see. He admits he has to be better. All of us have to be better, he said, because, quote, time is running out.
Well, indeed it is. And as far as his value, I think he has plenty of value left, given what he did the last 2 seasons. Between 15 and 16 combined, Marco was 22 and 17 with a .330 earned run average and an opponent's batting average of .203.
That's the important thing right there. A lot of weak contact, and smart general managers are not going to make a trade for a guy based on what he's done over the last 6 weeks. They're going to look at the big picture, and they're going to see that he's been a very valuable pitcher in the American League.
And another team is not going to trade one of their pitchers that's pitching really well. So it kind of makes sense. I think because of his track record, Marco Estrada has value on the trade market. Kendrys Morales goes after that high pitch. 1-2, Kluber ahead. Morales just 4 for 24 against Corey Kluber. Popped out of play.
You know, here's what makes Corey Kluber so tough. In the World Series, he pitched 3 times against the Cubs, and in each time he pitched differently, made adjustments in each one of those games. It might have been sinker curveball the first game, then it might have been the 4-seam fastball, and then the cutter. That ball was fouled off by Morales, and then the 3rd time he pitched him different than he did in the first 2 times. That's what makes him so tough. He's got so many ways to get you out, and it's not just one way where you go up there, oh, if he doesn't have his breaking ball, we can hit this guy. That's not true.
One and 2. There's another breaking ball. He comes back with more of a slider and strikes out Morales. That's his first strikeout of the afternoon.
He's got a cutter. He's got a curveball. He calls the curveball. Sometimes it's like a slider. This one had a little bit more break, and it's down and in. Strikeout number 1. Over his last 9 games, he's averaging 13 strikeouts per 9 innings, and on base percentage at .200. Opponent's batting average of .160. He's been a Cy Young award-winning type of pitcher over his last 9 starts.
He made 6 starts in the postseason last year, including the start in Game 7 against the Cubs. He is certainly the lead dog in this rotation for Cleveland. First time Steve Pearce has faced Corey Kluber. Ball and a strike on Pearce. Took a little off that breaking ball.
Yeah, he could take something off of the breaking balls and get your timing all messed up. 94 strikeouts in his last 9 starts.
Adds a little bit to that breaking ball and flattens it out. A couple of strikeouts to start the top of the 2nd.
Well, what we can look for this afternoon from Corey Kluber is a little bit of everything. He uses his fastball 46% of the time. He's got the curveball, the cutter, and the changeup. His curveball, they're hitting .092 against him. He mixes and matches. He puts a little on, takes a little off, and that's why he's such a great strikeout pitcher. Doesn't have to burn it in there at 98 miles an hour, but he could really pitch with 4 pitches he has.
Gets ahead of Montero with a fastball strike.
And he's finally healthy. Came out of spring training with some back issues, and his season got off to a little bit of a shaky start, but since the calendar flipped to June, he has been unbelievable. Blue Jays were hoping to miss him. He had a neck problem.
He was originally scheduled to start on Friday night. He was pushed back to Sunday. 0-2 pitch to Montero. Corey Kluber strikes out to the side. 3 up, 3 down, 6 straight retired by Kluber.
My Blue Jays members log into My Blue Jays and enter the code MBJ3465 to earn My Blue Jays points just for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage. Code must be entered by 4 a.m. No Troy Tulowitzki in the lineup again today. He took some ground balls this morning. Still a little tight with that left groin. Bucky hopes to be back in the Blue Jays lineup tomorrow.
Tomorrow it'll be a first game of a 4-game series against the Oakland Athletics. Chris Smith, right-hander, will be on the mound against Francisco Liriano. Sonny Gray will start Tuesday if he's still with Oakland against Cesar Valdez. 4-0 Cleveland. Giovanni Urshela, the third baseman, batting ninth.
They have come out swinging, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
The Indians, they're feeling pretty comfortable this afternoon so far against Jay Happ.
Urshela started last night and went 1 for 4. Tell you what, their extra players, Urshela and Eric Gonzalez, can really play defense. And now, of course, they have Bradley Zimmer on the bench. He, too, is an excellent defender, good outfielder. Tapper back to the mound. Happ takes his time. 1 away.
Well, you better play defense. If your team is built around pitching, and the Indians team is built around pitching, you better have good defenders, and that's what they have. They're missing Jason Kipnis, their regular starting second baseman. He's going to be out a couple of more weeks. Lonnie Chisenhall is still out also. He's going to be gone for a couple of more weeks. Both of those players can play defense.
Cleveland at the start of play today, second to the Boston Red Sox in ERA in the American League, 3.76. Boston pitching to a 3.71 earned run average. Carlos Santana got it all started for Cleveland with a leadoff single in the first. Ball on the strike. Santana is another one of the players that the Indians acquired in a trade, July 26 trade in 2008. At the time, he was in Double-A in the Dodgers system. And when you pluck a Double-A player that turns into an all-star, you've done your homework. Santana's been a terrific player.
That's exactly what they did. He was a catcher, switch hitting catcher with good on-base skills. Corey Kluber was in Double-A when the Indians recognized his talents and traded for him. Trading major league talent for minor league talents, you better have your scouts out there, and you better understand and know what you're looking for, that someday they could turn into decent players. The Indians have done a good job over the years.
Actually misspoke. Santana has not made an all-star team, but he has hit 20 or more home runs 4 different seasons for Cleveland. Montero once again back to the screen, but it's up on the screen, out of play. Third time he's given chase to a foul pop-up. Perry Francona and Michael Brantley having a conversation. We got a chance to go say hello to Francona today in his office, and he was actually pretty chipper. And he's gone through a heart procedure. He's just rejoined the team after the All-Star break. But he went through some significant surgery.
And he's on some medication right now that says it makes him tired, but he's going to be okay in another week or two once he's off those meds. It's great to see him around the ballpark. This is where he belongs.
Santana strikes out, 2 away for Happ.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful ballpark here in Cleveland. It's 27 degrees and slight breeze. It's a perfect baseball afternoon. It didn't start that way for Jay Happ for sure. He gave up 4 runs on 4 hits in the first inning. Francisco Lindor pushed a bunt up the first baseline for a base hit. Lindor scored on the 3-run double by Brandon Geyer. Off-speed pitch. He was out in front. Lindor was born in Puerto Rico. He moved to Florida at a young age to play baseball and learn the English language. His family very aware that he had baseball skills, and he went to Montverde Academy in Montverde, Florida, northeast of Orlando.
Right around the high school when he was entering high school, so he could play baseball. You can play year-round, and what a pleasant young man. Plays the game the right way with a lot of energy.
You think about those 3 young infielders from Puerto Rico: Carlos Correa, who's currently on the disabled list, and Javi Baez and Francisco Lindor. 3 pretty good infielders. He reaches for it. Barney comes quickly on the edge of the grass, bobbles it, can't make the play. It'll be an infield hit for Lindor. Barney was on the edge of the outfield grass. Lindor has 2 base hits, and neither one of them have gone 100 feet.
He's figured out that if I can get the ball down with my speed, I'm going to be able to beat it out. Even if he comes up with that, I think Darwin really doesn't have a chance to throw him out because he was deep with 2 strikes, had to come a long way. You can see he's crossing the bag right there. Now a threat to steal over at first base.
4 steals. He's just been caught once this season. Brantley takes the first pitch strike. You know, again, you see speed and how important it is. The Blue Jays don't have much speed, and we have seen that in the last 2 series with the Red Sox and now with the Indians. They can manufacture runs.
You know, it's not about stolen bases. It's about going first to third on singles, hard hit balls into the outfield, scoring from first on an extra base hit, speed on defense, being able to cover a lot of ground. And I'm talking about infielders and outfielders. Indians have a whole lot of players like Lindor.
Sharply hit, big hop for Goins. He goes across the diamond to end the inning. 2-out infield hit is stranded. We'll go to the 3rd. Cleveland has a 4-0 lead. In the 2nd inning, Corey Kluber set down the side in order with breaking balls.
Watch the depth of all of these pitches, the different speeds. From up here, if you could watch the angle that the ball is crossing home plate, it's tough to get that ball and hit it hard. He's got a couple of different breaking balls. He used all of them in that inning. 3 strikeouts for Kluber.
They mentioned in the opening that the Blue Jays had a tough mound opponent last night in Danny Salazar. Salazar faced the minimum through 7 innings. He allowed one hit. That was a leadoff single to Kevin Pillar in the third. Didn't walk a batter and struck out 8. Corey Kluber's following suit here early in this game. Here is Kevin Pillar. High and deep, and this one's gonna go. Get out of here, ball gone. Kevin Pillar jumps on the first pitch from Kluber, and Kluber has had his problems in the third inning. The league has hit .333 against Kluber in the third inning, and his ERA is over 7.
Go figure. You strike out the side, 1, 2, 3 in the second inning. Your first pitch is deposited about 430 feet to left field. Pillar got the first hit for the Blue Jays last night in the third inning. He gets the first one this afternoon. That was a bomb to left field.
Good sound coming off the bat. Home run number 11 for Pillar, his 23rd RBI. Ryan Goins takes the first pitch strike. Goins had some success against Kluber in the past. He's 3 for 6.
Yeah, his numbers against the Blue Jays, his ERA for his career is up over 5 with these types of swings. Ball stays out over the plate. Get me over fastball, and Kevin Pillar says, I'm ready to hit this one. That is a good feeling on a Sunday.
Goins strikes out on a breaking ball. 4 strikeouts for Kluber. The Pillar home run measured an estimated 451 feet. He got deep up into those seats in left field.
I shortchanged him. I was guessing 430. It was 450 with an exit velocity of 106.
One away. Darwin Barney. Barney playing second base for a second straight game with Troy Tulowitzki coming out of the game with that groin injury. There's a strike. 2-1 now. Barney's had a rough road trip, just 2 for 21 on the road trip. 2 singles. Then again, the Blue Jays as a team have hit just .217 over the 9 games. They've grounded into 13 double plays.
And their share of strikeouts also. Barney will give you professional at bats, good at bats, battle you. And making him work now. He was taking that 3-1 pitch all the way.
The Blue Jays need some base runners, and they have hit a home run. The only run they have scored today coming on that Pillar home run to start the inning. Took something off that pitch and gets the pop up. Ramirez backs into the outfield and makes the catch. 2 outs. So that'll turn the lineup over back to the top of the order. Jose Bautista grounded out to short his first time. We mentioned the Blue Jays and their struggles on this road trip. They have had 5 double-digit strikeout games in the first 9 games of this road trip.
Too many empty at bats where you're not putting the ball in play. They didn't face Chris Sale. Did not face Rick Porcello. Did not face David Price when they were in Boston. They missed Carlos Carrasco in this series versus Cleveland.
Ball and a strike to Bautista.
I mentioned Carrasco because coming into this game, Kluber was 5th in the American League in strikeouts. Carrasco was 6th.
Yeah, they get Salazar throwing like he did last night down the stretch, and they're going to run away with this division. They've got a terrific bullpen, as we all know. But a healthy Danny Salazar throwing like he did last night will make Terry Francona's life much easier. Kluber with another strikeout. He gives up the leadoff home run to Kevin Pillar and then retires the next 3 in order. Kevin Pillar got the first hit in last night's game. He gets the first hit this afternoon, his 11th home run of the season.
Edwin Encarnacion had the big Friday night show here in Cleveland. You can watch Edwin every night on MLB.TV Premium, which is back and better than ever. Every out-of-market regular season game available live on over 400 supported devices. You can also get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Thank you very much, Arash. Beautiful afternoon here in Cleveland. Had a couple of sellouts in the first 2 games. Last night they had 34,569. They went Encarnacion. Go out to center field in the first inning. Edwin hitting .258 for the season, 20 homers and 55 RBIs.
He is starting to swing the bat with authority. Just watching him in this series. Look at some of his numbers over his last 38 games. He's driven in 33 runs. That's why they signed him. Balance out this lineup. They got a lot of left-handed hitters in this lineup, but he's going to provide some right-handed power for him.
Flying ball to right, but that's going to slice into the seats foul. You know, we've talked to a lot of people involved with the ball club, front office, coaches, players, broadcasters, and almost to a man, when we got here, they said, boy, he's been kind of disappointing. I thought to myself, check back with me in October, see where he ends up. Popped up, Montero again over to the screen, but it's up on the screen, out of play.
It's 4 times. Yeah, check back at the end of September and see that nice round number you're going to see in RBIs. It'll probably be right in triple digits. He's going to drive in his share of runs. He's going to have a lot more opportunities. He just hasn't been able to do that just yet for this team.
Edwin has had 4 100 RBI seasons, including leading the American League in 2016. Proven 127 for the Blue Jays. Of course, everybody remembers his great home run in the wild card game last year at Rogers Center, game winner against the Orioles. Full count. Jay Happ had a tough first inning. Gave up 4 runs in the first. Gave up a 2-out single and nothing more in the second. center, right over the back of Jay Happ. A leadoff single for Encarnacion.
You know, you can see Edwin getting his timing. Whenever he starts to rock back and load up on that back leg, that's when he really starts to take off, and his swing, it becomes fluid. Everything comes together. He was all over this pitch from Jay Happ as Jay has to duck out of the way, sends it back through the middle. He's going to have his share of RBI chances in the second half. You know that.
Jose Ramirez walked back in the first inning. Swings and hits a high fly ball to left. Encarnacion is tagging at first. Pierce makes the catch at the edge of the warning track and gets it back in quickly. 1 away.
The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. It's the best time to find a Honda you'll love.
Former teammates having a chat over at first base, and Justin Smoak has outdone Encarnacion to this point of the season.
Biggest benefactor of Edwin leaving? Smokey?
Yeah, no question.
More playing time to play every day at first base.
Well, even with that, he wasn't given the job at first base. He and Pierce were thought to be a platoon at first base at the start of the season. Smoke took care of that himself.
Isn't it funny how that works out? If you hit, you're always going to play. Managers, they're smart enough to get you in the lineup if you end up hitting. But it
figure out some way to get you in there.
Seemed like Smoke was always the odd man out last year. Edwin was DHing, but if somebody would get hurt and couldn't play defense, Edwin would go in and play first base, and Smokey would have to sit on the bench. This year with Edwin gone, his first base job is his now, the way he's been hitting.
Smoke has gotten better and better as the season has gone on. 2-1 to Geyer. Geyer had that big 3-run double in the first inning. Brandon Geyer was acquired last August 1st from the Tampa Bay Rays. Another very good acquisition by the Indians. He's a very good outfielder, can play all 3 outfield positions, and you match him up against lefties, he'll put up some good numbers.
Yeah, he can run the bases. He's not going to hurt you. He's not going to cost you games, but he's going to help you win a lot of games.
He went 3 for 4 in the ALDS against Boston. He got 1 start and went 3 for 4 and scored a couple of runs and drove in a run. It's this on the ground. Donaldson at third. Second for 1, and it's a fair. Donaldson threw it wide of second. Barney did the best he could to get a glove on it, but all he could do was flag it down and knock it down. Donaldson, that'll be his 10th error of the season. And the defense has been shaky.
Yeah, second in 2 days for him also. He made a play last night that helped them to score a runner. He didn't make a play last night on a similar ball, double play ball. Booted it, he ended up getting it out, but that throw is offline. And the Indians trying to take advantage of that wide throw.
Last night, Donaldson bobbled a double play ball and got Encarnacion, but on the play, Lindor came in to score first run of the ball game. That was in the 4th inning. Abraham Almonte hit a line drive to the shortstop. His first time up. Out in front of that pitch and fouled it off the end of the bat. Over the course of the last several weeks, the defense has really been inconsistent. They've had some spectacular games, as they did in Boston in that series. But more often than not, they're not playing up to par the way they played defense last season, for sure.
Inconsistent, and at times really good, hitting cutoff net and making good throws, making sensational throws, and then the routine play at times gets booted. Some mistakes on the routine ball.
Strike 3 called. Happ finds that outside corner for the big strikeout of Almonte. Second strikeout for Happ.
Got some runners on base. He's going to try and pick up his teammates after the error. Going to pick him up by throwing this cutter, backdoor cutter, right on the outside corner, framed up by Montero for the second out. That's what you want to do if you're a pitcher. Your players behind you, if they make a mistake, you want to pick them up, take care of it all by yourself.
Yan Gomes goes after the first pitch and swings right through it. The Donaldson error is the 14th error the Blue Jays have committed in the month of July, and this is their 19th game. They've had 2 3-error games this month. Good fastball.
Puts a little pressure on that pitcher. Keep his pitch count down. 61 errors now on the season by the Blue Jays.
Oh, 0-2. Only 3 teams in the American League have committed more errors than the Blue Jays. Tampa Bay, Chicago, and Oakland. Of course, we'll see Oakland tomorrow night at Rogers Center. Another fastball upstairs. It's 2-2. Cleveland with a 4-1 lead. Jay Happ trying to strand the pair here in the bottom of the 3rd. Hard hit. Goins with a nice play. Strong throw in time. Ryan Goins saves a run for Jay Happ. And the error didn't hurt. The Indians strand a pair. Happ gets a strikeout and a good defensive play. It's short by Ryan Goins. Goins can play short as good as anybody in the American League. Award winner while pitching for the Indians. Kluber won in 2014. You look at the last 5 Cy Young Award winners in the American League. It's an impressive list.
Yeah, these are all household names. Price, Scherzer, Kluber, Keuchel, Rick Porcello last year in the American League. Kluber won that in his first full season with the Indians. He was up and down for 3 seasons with them, trying to figure it out. And then once he did, in that magical season in 2014, put it all together and won the Cy Young Award. He was 28 years old when he won that Cy Young Award. So he was mature. He had found himself, and he's been great ever since.
Kluber did not sign until he was 21. Remember, he was drafted out of Stetson University in Florida, so he kind of a late bloomer and didn't get to the big leagues till later on. As Pat mentioned, that was his first full season. They'd come up midway in the previous season. Josh Donaldson was thrown out on a nice play by the shortstop Lindor in the first inning. Donaldson has never had one of those streaks that we've been so accustomed to seeing from him. And you can see he doesn't have that flap on his helmet anymore. When he first came back from that calf injury, he wore that protective extension on his helmet. Now he's taking it off.
I went looking for him today to ask him why he took that extension off. Remember, it just showed up one day and had it on. Couldn't find him around the clubhouse today. We'll find him.
When he came back off the disabled list, he had used it in the minor leagues, and his explanation for putting it on was, hey, it's available. It's protection. They try to pitch me inside a lot, so why wouldn't I wear it? But now he has discarded it. Full count. Donaldson leading off the top of the 4th. Base hit. Donaldson takes that high fastball and rips it into right. A leadoff single here in the 4th.
Kluber is going to work Josh Donaldson exclusively away that whole at bat, and then he finally gets to 3-2, and he's going to go away again. And instead of trying to pull it, Josh stays right on it. There's a level swing through that pitch. That's away, and punches it to right field for a base hit. You know, if a pitcher's going to constantly pitch you away, you'd be crazy to try and pull him. So you hit a couple of balls hard the other way, he'll come back inside.
Smoke last time up swung at a 3-0 pitch and flying out to left field. He doesn't do that very often, Pat.
Oh, was that the second time this year that Justin has swung at an 0-2 or a 3-0 pitch?
Yeah, he's just not comfortable. He says, I can take that pitch and get another look at the pitcher. Late on this one and fouls it into the seats. Justin Smoak's had a terrific road trip. Over the first 9 games, he's at .375, 4 homers, 8 RBIs. He's also had a couple of doubles. He has walked 9 times and struck out 9 times. OPS well over 1. He's just been their most consistent hitter. And we had mentioned Smoak and how he has gotten better and better as the season has gone on. He started out hitting .273 in the month of April. Hit .280 in May, .333 in June.
You know, and you touched on it in spring training. It was looking more and more like it was going to be a platoon situation with he and Steve Pearce at first base. But Smoak did okay in spring training. Got a lot of at bats this spring, and then started hitting once the season started, and he hasn't stopped.
Smoak hit 10 home runs and drove in 18 in the month of June. He has 5 homers in July. Off speed pitch, snap throw to first. Yan Gomes is a terrific catcher as Smoak strikes out. Gomes came into this game leading the majors in caught stealing percentage. He's thrown out 45% of the runners, and he's not afraid to throw to any base.
Not afraid at all to throw behind runners, just in case Donaldson was leaning on that swing and miss. Gomes fires over there. He's got 5 errors this year, and a lot of that is because he's aggressive behind the plate. Got to be on your toes if you're on the bases.
1 out now. Kendrys Morales, he struck out in the 2nd. Infield playing Morales around to the first base side. Lindor, the shortstop, basically straight away at second, and Ramirez in the hole.
What's interesting about that is Lindor is out of position, if you will. He is the shortstop. I thought they would keep him at shortstop, so any ground ball double play, he would have his normal come across the bag and finish off the double play. The guy playing shortstop now is the third baseman, Ursula.
We just came from Boston, and Brian Butterfield utilizes the shortstop just as you said. He'll keep the shortstop at his natural position in these shifts just because of that double play ball.
I would want to keep my second baseman and my shortstop in their normal position, and if I'm going to shift, use my third baseman and put him over in the hole on the right side. It's a longer throw, the same kind of throw that he's going to have at third base. But I leave my second baseman and my shortstops in their natural positions. Right now they've got two players out of position, Lindor and Ursula.
2 balls and 2 strikes with Donaldson at first. Checked his swing. Umpire at third said he went around, and Morales can't believe it. Scott Berry down at third called him for the swing. It looked like he clearly checked on that breaking ball, but he's called for the swing by the third base umpire.
From up here, it looked like he checked his swing. He's got a lot of movement. That's not much of an effort right there. That's not a swing. But it is called a swing by the third base umpire. Morales has to go back to the bench.
That wasn't even close. He clearly checked his swing. But now there are 2 outs, and Cooper has 7 strikeouts. Steve Pearce went down swinging into second. Kluber last pitched last Saturday in Oakland and had a 12 strikeout game against the A's. So this is nothing unusual. Base hit for Pearce. Pulls it into left field. Donaldson round second. He'll hold there. Couple of hits in this inning.
Every time that he has come inside against those right-handed hitters, they've hit him hard. Pilar, fastball inside, took it out of here. Now Pearce, fastball gets away from him up and in, and Steve's able to yank it into left field. That's 2 hits this inning, 3 for the game. When he was tough against the Blue Jays in the playoffs, if you remember that, a lot of breaking balls down and away to the right-handed batters, and he was just locked in on that outside corner.
Miguel Montero bats with 2 on and 2 outs. He gets jammed, and Yan Gomes, the catcher, will throw him out. Took Cooper just 1 pitch to get out of the jam. Blue Jays get a pair of singlets and strand 2. 4-1 Cleveland.
It's the wildest night of his baseball life. Hadn't caught a World Series game until, just the final 2 innings of Game 7 last October. And when Aroldis Chapman came in the 9th, Montero didn't want to put down the index finger at all, just breaking balls. Then the memorable rain delay. In the 10th inning, he watched Cleveland intentionally walk 2 batters to face him. Montero told me that's what I remember, them loading the bases for me. Montero stopped, grinned, and said, you know what else I remember? Getting that game-winning RBI off of Brian Shaw. When Montero came in to pinch hit Friday in this series, he heard boos from the Cleveland crowd. They remember, Montero said, and so do I.
Terrific moment for Miguel Montero that came in the top of the 10th inning, and it was a big at-bat because the Indians would come back and score a run in the bottom of the 10th, but they would end up losing 8-7 in that final Game 7.
He didn't want to put down his index finger to Aroldis Chapman and threw that hard.
Chapman was just about out of gas.
Out of gas.
The end of that World Series. Giovanni Urshela, the third baseman, takes a first pitch strike. Urshela starting in a second game at third base. He is in the 9th spot in this lineup today. Under the glove of Happ, and Goins and Barney got their signals crossed. Goins had the best chance to make that play coming from the shortstop position. His momentum was going more in the direction of first, but they didn't get their signals straight.
Yeah, anytime a shortstop can get to a ball, that's his ball because his momentum is taking him over to first base. Jay Happ misses it. Goins leaves off of it, and it's going to be another infield hit for the Indians. But anytime you have to take control and just say, that's my ball. No chance for Darwin to get the runner at first base.
The Indians now with 7 hits, but 3 of them haven't left the infield. Lindor has a bunt single and an infield single. Now Urshela has an infield hit. That turns the lineup over. Dangerous part of this lineup. Carlos Santana, 1 for 2. Good changeup.
I think that's the pitch you have to use against Santana. You got to change speeds on him. He's got a great eye at the plate. Very good eye at the plate, but he's got a big windup to his swing. So you have to take something off and get him out on that front foot.
Santana has a lot of moving parts to his swing.
Good low ball hitter. Good fastball hitter.
Ball gets away from Montero. Urshela goes to second. Ball was in the dirt, but he went at it one-handed, and it popped away from him.
Just couldn't bend over enough to block that ball and keep it in front of him. See how he is upright, so when it hits the chest protector, it's going to bounce away from him. Sending the runner into second.
Wow, pitch charge to Happ. 2-2, high in the air to center. Urshela goes back and tags, and Pilar hits the cutoff man to hold him at second.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Jay Happ has settled down a bit since a rough start to the game. He surrendered 4 runs on 4 hits in the first inning, and being able to put up a couple of zeros. Lindor is 2 for 2 with a couple of infield hits cued off the end of the bat. Lindor had a bunt single in the first, an infield single to second in the second inning. There's a base hit to right. Urshela coming around third. Bautista comes up throwing. The ball is not in time. Lindor with another RBI. He's perfect 3 for 3 this afternoon.
And all 3 of the balls that he has hit, they haven't been hit that hard, but they've been placed perfectly. First the bunt, then the infield hit to the right side. And now, because the ball was hit so softly off the end of the bat, it sounded like he broke his bat. He's able to pick up his 47th RBI. Happ throws the ball in the outside part of the plate. Good plate coverage. Dumps it into the outfield. Again, Bautista's got to wait for it, and then no chance to get Urshela, another fielder for the Indians with speed. That's an infielder running like that. He's able to score from second base easily.
Lindor now 5 for 11 in the series, 3 for 3 already this afternoon. Michael Brantley had an RBI single in the first. Pops this one up. Donaldson gives way to Goins, who had a better angle on that ball that was popped in the air. Goins makes the catch, and he's retired. Bottom of the fourth, 2 outs. The Indians have taken a 5-1 lead.
Third time through the lineup. It's only the 4th inning. Big lead over at first base by Lindor. Not going. You know, you could choose to leave Lindor at first base and not try and get him in the scoring position, because if you do, they might just walk Encarnacion.
Yeah, I think they'll let Edwin hit here. Lindor bluffed a break, but wasn't running. 1-1.
Yeah, with his speed and the extra base power that Encarnacion has, he can score from first base just as easily.
Lindor just 4 stolen bases so far this season. Last year he was 19 for 24. He had 12 stolen bases in 99 games in 2015.
That's a big lead over at first base.
And what you would consider a one-way lead where you're just trying to draw a throw?
It looks like it, because as soon as Jay's picking up his leg, he's going back to first base. But he was out a little bit further on that last pitch.
Two balls and a strike to Encarnacion. Edwin ripped a single into center back in the third. He's 1 for 2. Now Happ has fallen behind 3-1. Ball 4 inside. Second walk issued by Happ. It comes with 2 outs, and that'll push Lindor to second.
This is why they've got Jose Ramirez hitting behind Edwin Encarnacion. There's been talk about possibly moving him up in the lineup, maybe into the number 3 spot or the number 2 spot. This guy's an RBI man, and they want some protection for Encarnacion, that if you pitch around him like they just did, Got a guy up here who can come up with some big base hits.
Plus, you factor in he's a switch hitter. Ramirez has 51 ribbies this season, and he now has the count in his favor, 1-0.
The fifth spot in the order over a full season receives 26 fewer plate appearances than the number 3 spot in the batting order. That's according to Fangraphs. Now they're willing to protect Encarnacion and take some at bats away from Ramirez. 40 fewer than the number 2 spot in the batting order.
I think if I had to make out this lineup, I think I might have a healthy Jason Kipnis leading off.
Yes.
Michael Brantley hitting second because he gets on base a lot. Doesn't have a lot of power. And then hit Ramirez third. I think he's their best hitter. Ramirez has power, 17 homers, and he's a switch hitter. Gives you a lot of versatility.
Where do you hit Lindor then?
Yeah, Lindor, then he kind of gets dropped
third.
down in the order. But you put Lindor down in the 6th or 7th spot, it really gives you a lot of depth in your lineup. Fly ball off the end of the bat. Bautista over toward the foul line makes the catch. A couple of base runners stranded, but they score another run. It's 5-1 as we head to the 5th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Craig Zorn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Is Canada Baseball Day, presented by Rogers and Sportsnet, and we will celebrate the sport from coast to coast in Cooperstown. The day will feature baseball stories and events from communities across the country. Alberta, Ontario, the Maritimes all represented. Canada Baseball Day, July 30th on Sportsnet. And of course, that's the day Tim Raines will be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Buck?
Well, it's fitting that that induction ceremony falls on the Canada Baseball Day, a terrific ceremony in Cooperstown to induct that class of 2017. Congratulations to Bud Rodriguez, Jeff Bagwell, and Tim Raines. Kevin Pillar homered in the 3rd. His last 5 home runs have all been hit on the road. This is popped up. Santana will watch it drop into the seats.
That home run was on a first pitch fastball from Corey Kluber. So what does he do this at bat? Throw him a breaking ball.
The home run was just the 2nd RBI by Pillar in his last 13 games. Another strikeout for Kluber. He's got 8 strikeouts. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. For Altuve, home run number 15. He now has 56 RBIs in that 3-3 game. Lance McCullers Jr. and Dylan Bundy, the pitching matchup. Goins bounces it to second. Easy play for Ramirez. 2 quick outs here in the 5th.
Houston got one of their starters back last night, Colin McHugh. If he pitches anywhere like he has the last couple of seasons, that's like making a trade right at the deadline, getting a fresh arm. Houston's making a mockery of that American League West.
McHugh pitched 4 2/3 as they were careful with his pitch count. He was charged with 4 earned runs, but you're right. If he can recapture the form he's had in the past, that's a great acquisition, if you will, mid-season. Darwin Barney popped out to the second baseman, his only time up. 2 outs in the 5th. Barney trying to make contact with that breaking ball, had a big follow through, and he clipped the catcher, Yan Gomes.
You know, watching that breaking ball from up here, it starts at the batter, the right-handed batter, and then sweeps all the way off the plate. Must be awfully tough to pick that ball up.
One and two now. Ground ball, base hit past Ramirez into center for Darwin Barney. A 2-out single. The 4th hit off of Kluber this afternoon.
I tell you, catchers are into their pitcher. Watch Yan Gomes after this pitch goes into center field. He is upset with himself that he's kicking at the dirt. Told you last night he has the 3rd best catcher's ERA in the American League behind Gary Sanchez and Sandy Leon. And he was all in on that pitch, and it was inside again, and Barney with 2 strikes bangs it back through the middle.
Back to the top of the order for the Jays, and Bautista checks his swing on that breaking ball.
Yeah, you don't think catchers are, working together with their pitchers and they really care about them? I mean, he showed some emotion there, wanting to get Barney out.
Good ones are. High strike, it's 1-1. Corey Kluber with 8 strikeouts so far this afternoon. 8 times this season he's recorded double-digit strikeouts. Breaking ball. He had a season-high 13 strikeouts against the Minnesota Twins. Over 7 innings, he allowed 2 runs, both unearned runs, on 3 hits in that game. He ended up with a no decision in a 4-2 Indians loss.
Getting half of his strikeouts in the last couple of months with that hard breaking ball. There it is again.
89 miles an hour. It's a little bit more than a cutter. He's got a little bit of depth, but he throws it hard at cutter velocity.
Puts it in a good spot.
2-2. Bautista called for the swing. First base umpire Quinn Wolcott rings him up. Another strikeout for Kluber, 2 in the inning. Morales was called for a check swing. Bautista, he went around on that one for sure. 9 strikeouts for Kluber. Both on Friday night and Saturday. The score of 4-3. It took extra innings on Friday night. Everybody in the East lost yesterday. Boston, New York, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, and Toronto all lost. Tampa Bay has lost 3 in a row. Baltimore and Toronto has lost 2 in a row. Brendan Guyer, he's had an impactful day for Cleveland. He got the start against Jay Happ and delivered a first inning 3-run double. Off the end of the bat. Goins it short. Easy play. 6-3 on the ground out, 1 away. Goins made a terrific play to end the 3rd inning on Yan Gomes.
Jay's changeup. He splits his finger. He throws it. It's not more. It's not a splitter, but he just splits his index finger and his middle finger. Takes a little something off that fastball. It's been effective today against the right-handed hitters. Seen a lot of weak contact from the righties right off the end of the bat.
Go back to that Rangers-Rays game. Rougned Odor has homered off Jake Odorizzi. For Odor, that's his 18th. But it is the 15th consecutive game that Jake Odorizzi has surrendered a home run. Almonte grounds out.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
They mentioned the Odorizzi streak. 15 straight games. He has allowed 19 home runs in his last 15 starts. And since the wild card era began in '94, only 4 pitchers have allowed a home run in 15 straight. Mark Leiter, Ramon Ortiz, Josh Tomlin of the Indians, and Chris Young. That's given up some mileage in 15 straight games. 19 home runs surrendered by Odorizzi.
Yeah, that's surprising. His stuff is pretty good.
Yan Gomes, we mentioned he grounded out to short his last time up. A terrific play by Goins. The Indians have a 5-1 lead. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Three balls and a strike now to Yan Gomes.
Figured they give him the green light. His power is to right field, and the wind is blowing out today to right field. Outfield shading him over that way. He got one to his liking and swung hard at it.
Broke his bat, and Happ makes a nifty play behind his back. 3 ground ball outs for Jay Happ. Happ breaks the bat of Yan Gomes, a soft grounder, but watch the athleticism of Jay Happ. Reaches behind his back, snares it, takes his time, and ends the inning. They'll go to the 6th.
Baseball Day was Sunday, July 30th. It's also Russell Martin Red Replica Jersey Giveaway Day at the Rogers Center. That's presented by Rogers and Sportsnet. The first 20,000 will receive one of those replica jerseys. That's when the Blue Jays play the Angels, a 107 start. BlueJays.com for tickets for Russell Martin Red Replica Jersey Giveaway Day. Buck.
That's a great opportunity to get a beautiful red jersey. Russell Martin red jersey, number 55. Well, meet of the order for the Blue Jays here in the 6th. Donaldson, Smoak, and Morales. Got to get something going against Corey Kluber. A run on 4 hits. The only run coming on Kevin Pillar's 11th home run of the season. Popped up, and that's over the Blue Jays dugout, out of play. Corey Kluber with an 0-2 count on Donaldson. Josh is 1 for 2. He had a leadoff single in the 4th.
How about all those strikeouts, and he's only at 72 pitches so far as we start the 6th inning.
He hasn't walked a batter. He has pitched ahead, as he is now, to Donaldson.
Straightens Josh up with that fastball. I'm sure we'll go away again. Remember, Josh got a single to right field his last time up on a fastball that was up and away.
Strikeout number 10 for Corey Kluber. It's the 9th time he has recorded double-digit strikeouts, and it's a career high in strikeouts against the Blue Jays. Kluber making his 6th start. And you can see the most games with 10 or more strikeouts. Chris Sale of the Red Sox, Max Scherzer of the Nationals, and Corey Kluber now with 9.
He came into this game 4th in the American League in strikeouts. Check that, 5th. He is now 4th. He passes Luis Severino. He now has 145 strikeouts. And with that one, he passes Yu Darvish. He's now 3rd in the American League.
Only Chris Sale and Chris Archer are ahead of Kluber in strikeouts.
What was that number we saw the other day about Chris Sale? Fastest to 200 strikeouts, 20 starts.
20 starts, 200 strikeouts, yeah. Smoak pulls it foul outside of first.
You know, one of the fastest is something like he got 200 strikeouts in his first 20 starts of the season. He's like the 3rd or 4th player to do that, something like that. He's just having an unbelievable season.
Two balls and a strike on Justin Smoak. Upstairs with the fastball.
And that's what makes him so tough. He can go up and down, in and out, throw a little bit harder, a little bit softer, backwards, forwards. We haven't seen him with that comeback fastball to lefties yet.
Cutter there is fouled back.
That's that fastball that starts right at the hip of that left-handed batter, and it freezes him. Thinks it's going to hit him, and it just comes right back over the inside part of the plate. He has not thrown too many of those.
Two and two count. Off the plate inside. Chris Sale leads the majors in strikeouts with 200. Max Scherzer is second with 192. Chris Archer, 167, is third. And then Clayton Kershaw has 166, and Kershaw is starting today. Kershaw in his last 14 starts, he's 11-0. 122 strikeouts in 98 innings.
Year in and year out. It's the same guys, isn't it? The top.
Ball four. Smoke with a good at bat. That's the first walk issued by Corey Kluber this afternoon. Well, Kluber has been a thoroughbred pitching in this rotation for Cleveland. You look at his career numbers, and since 2014, when he took over as a regular starter in the rotation, he's got the second best ERA in the American League.
It's the same guys every year. Sale and Price, King Felix up there. He's just 31 years old. Turned 31 in April. Doesn't it seem like he's been around a lot longer than that?
You mentioned he came up in 2013 after a couple of cups of coffee in 11 and 12, but in 2013 he made 24 starts and had an 11-5 record.
When he was traded from San Diego to Cleveland, he was in Double-A. He was 6-6. Had 122 innings, but he had 136 strikeouts. They saw something in him as a young player.
Boy, Kluber and Yan Gomes are doing a terrific job of mixing their pitches. You just can't sit on one pitch. Think you're going to get a breaking ball, he throws you a heater. You look for the heater, he drops that breaking ball on you. Liner into center. That's going to get down for a base hit. Smoke will move to second. Morales got to that breaking ball that time and singles into center.
He had thrown him a fastball the previous pitch to set up that breaking ball. And I think Kendricks, he's such a smart hitter and understands hitting. He was looking for it. There's the spin, and it stays out over the plate, and he picks up his first hit of the afternoon.
Steve Pearce has a hit this afternoon. He's singled to left in the fourth inning. How much does Kluber's smooth delivery help him rack up the strikeouts? He's really smooth and effortless.
He's got great arm action too. You know, not a lot of herky-jerky motion. You shouldn't have a bad arm when you've got that type of delivery. Really uses his legs well. Loads up on that back leg and then explodes to home. His strength is his ability to spin the baseball.
He's thrown over 200 innings in each of the last 3 seasons. Ground ball. Lindor second for one. Back to first in time. The Blue Jays get a walk and a single, but bounce into a double play to end the threat. Corey Kluber in command this afternoon. WestJet Rewards. Redeem WestJet dollars anytime, anywhere with no blackouts. Now that's cool. Join today at westjet.com/rewards. Now time for the schedule ahead, brought to you by WestJet. The Blue Jays will go home to Toronto and open up a 4-game series. The Thursday game against Oakland will be an afternoon game. They go to the start time, a 12:30 start time. Pre-game show at 12 noon. And then the Angels and Mike Trout will be at Rogers Center for a 3-game series. And the Blue Jays are off to Chicago. Monday, Tuesday night games. Wednesday, a 2 o'clock Eastern time start, and then the off day in Houston before the Blue Jays wrap up that road trip. 3 games against the Astros.
That is also right around the trade deadline, so there might be some action happening the 31st of July.
Monday is the 31st. That's when the trade deadline is. Make trades without getting waivers. Giovanni Urshela, the third baseman, had an infield single and came around to score the 5th run. That's the only run that Happ has allowed since the first inning.
He has settled in nicely. He's used his fastball effectively. His little split change has been effective. He's kept it away on that outside corner to the right-handers.
You know, we mentioned that this was the first time Happ had thrown to Miguel Montero, and it looked like they had a few issues in the first inning. And that led to a 4-run inning. But after that, Montero made a couple of trips to the mound. They had an in-game conference or two. And Happ's been good since. Breaking ball golfed to left field. Pierce makes a running catch, 1 away.
Well, that first inning was a long first inning for Jay. And unfortunately, he's getting close to 100 pitches. So the bullpen is up and they're starting to work. And this Dominic Leone and Aaron Loop warming up. Jay's got 98 pitches now.
Happ's season high 115 came 3 starts ago. That was against the Yankees in New York over 6 innings. Carlos Santana, leadoff man, singled in the first. He has gone 1 for 3 this afternoon.
Taken all the way.
Pours that fastball in there.
Came into this game 4 for 10 in his career versus Jay. You mentioned the one hit he has here, so you got to be careful. I think you got to keep the ball away from him, make him reach for pitches.
Missed with that off-speed pitch. It's a walk, and 3rd walk of the ball game issued by Happ.
Got John Gibbons up and moving around. I'm sure he's got an idea of what he wants to do, who he wants to bring in, and what situation. You're facing the meat of the order. Sure, John is thinking about maybe giving the Indians a different look. This is the 4th time through the lineup for Happ.
And Lindor's already 3 for 3. Had an RBI single to right his last time up. Lines it to Donaldson back to first, but Santana is back in safely.
Might have been the hardest ball he's hit today, and it's an out. Lindor has 3 hits, a couple of infield hits, and a soft liner into right field. This time hits one right on the button, but it's right at Donaldson. Josh does everything he can to get it back across the infield.
Now this is a important at bat for Jay Happ. Michael Brantley, the left-handed batter, batting with 2 outs. This could be Happ's last batter. First pitch is off the plate outside. Brantley drove in the first run of the ball game. A single to center drove home Santana. Two and 0.
He's always been a tough out against the Blue Jays. 5 home runs this season, hasn't hit one since April. Brantley 359 coming into this game versus the Blue Jays in his career. It's 131 at bats.
3-0. He's got a terrific eye at the plate. I wouldn't expect him to have the green light with Encarnacion on deck. Santana takes a lead at first. He walked. He has the green light and hits it high and deep to center and gone. Michael Brantley with his first home run since April. Had the green light 3-0 and he's happy. I didn't expect him to be swinging on that pitch.
I think that's why Terry Francona is such a good manager. He's so unpredictable. He knows his players better than anybody. And he said, you know what? I like the way Brantley's swinging today against Jay Happ. Let me give him the green light and see what happens. Well, he's rewarded with a 2-run home run to make it 7-1. You feel comfortable hitting 3-0. You get a fastball. You treat it like it's batting practice and say, okay, I'm not going to try and do too much. I'm just going to try and hit the ball hard. And Brantley comes up with a long one to center field.
It's the first time Brantley has swung at a 3-0 pitch this season. So Terry Francona indeed picked the right time to give him the green light.
It's such a smooth and effortless swing. 3-0, and the ballpark's not going to hold it. Good hand movement, a lot of bat speed created.
His 5th career home run against the Blue Jays. He's driven in 3 today. 7-1 Cleveland. Encarnacion lays off that pitch. It's a full count. Brantley's home run came on a 3-0 pitch. It was estimated to travel 408 feet to dead center. And as we mentioned, it was his first home run since April 30th. Encarnacion strikes out. That ends the inning, but the Indians scored 2 more. A Santana walk and a Michael Brantley home run number 6 on the season for Brantley, and Cleveland has taken a 7-1 lead. Is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Kevin Pillar providing the only run for the Blue Jays so far this afternoon. A leadoff home run in the third inning, his 11th of the season. Cleveland has scored 7 runs on 9 hits.
Other than that, it's been this guy right here, Corey Kluber, with 10 punch-outs. He's had multiple strikeouts in 4 innings this afternoon.
Kluber was the winning pitcher in the ALCS Game 1, matched up against Marco Estrada. He won that game 2-0 on the Lindor 2-run home run. Miguel Montero is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Eight of the 9 Blue Jays in this lineup have gone down on strikes. Only Darwin Barney has not struck out against Kluber. Montero reaches for it and grounds it to second. One away. Drive of the game brought to you by the Honda Checkered Flag event. Check out their all-star lineup.
Leading off the 3rd inning, just like yesterday, leading off the 3rd inning, Kevin Pillar is going to get the Blue Jays offense their first hit. First pitch fastball. See you later. Home run number 11 for Pillar. As he takes that one halfway up the bleachers in left field. That is this afternoon's drive of the game. He's hitting .385 when leading off an inning. Excuse me, .314 with .385 on base percentage when leading off an inning. Did a good job there for our drive of the game.
Kluber quickly ahead 0-2, and he has been ahead all afternoon. He's had the ability to get his second and third pitches over for strikes early in the at-bats.
And then finish him off with that devastating breaking ball. Highest whiff percentage on secondary pitches since June. Corey Kluber has the highest, 49%.
Pillar gets to that breaking ball and stays alive. Baltimore is leading Houston 4-3, top of the 5th. Tampa Bay has taken the lead against Texas 5-3, top of the 5th. Back out of play. The Oakland A's are in New York playing the Mets. They will come to Toronto and start a 4-game series tomorrow. They currently have a 2-1 lead over the Mets.
They got walked off last night by the Mets on a home run by Wilmer Flores.
Pillar goes after that breaking ball, trying to check his swing, and
it's a late breaking slider. And as a hitter, you're thinking fastball, and you start your swing, and very late it starts to break, and it's tough to hold up. Kevin Pillar can't hold up on that one as he tries to check his swing. Another strikeout, second time that Kevin's gone down.
Goins fouls off the first pitch. Kluber's had a strikeout in every inning but the first. Kind of unusual. He had 2 ground balls and a fly ball out in the first. Struck out the side in the second. 2 strikeouts in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth, and 1 here in the seventh. Tough to get anything rolling against Corey Kluber today.
Well, there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of strikeouts, so there's a lot of empty at bats where you're not putting it in play.
Joe Smith, fresh off the disabled list, is loosening up. It appears as though he's getting ready to come into the game. He's been out about 6 weeks. He last pitched and complained of a shoulder issue and said, "Oh, I'll probably be back in 10 days." Anymore, when a player goes on the disabled list, even if it's quote unquote a minor injury, it's going to take a while. He's last pitched on the 14th of June. In that game, he gave up 3 runs on 3 hits in an inning. Mullins caught looking. 2 more strikeouts in the 7th for Corey Kluber, 12 in the game. He has mixed his pitches most effectively all afternoon. This time he gets going on a fastball. Jay Happ's day got up to a rough start as he was touched up for 4 runs on 4 hits in the first inning. He throws 114 pitches over 6 innings, and for the outing he gives up 7 runs, including a 2-run home run to Michael Brantley. The big blow in the first inning was a 3-run double off the bat of Brandon Guyer. Sporting start to his day. Joe Smith makes his return to the active roster. As we mentioned, he has not pitched for the Blue Jays since June 14th.
There's Joe. That is a welcome sight. In one first half, he put together 3-0, 341 earned run average. Check out the strikeouts and walks, 47 of them, and just 8 base off balls. He had 3 outings down in rehab. during that rehab with Buffalo. He pitched in 3 games, 2 1/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, had 3 strikeouts. He returned on the 22nd of this month. This is his first appearance since mid-June.
Joe Smith is from Cincinnati, and his wife is from Cleveland. Allie LaForce is from Cleveland, his wife, and they've got a special day lined up today. This is a fly ball to left. Pierce running in. He's got room, makes the catch in foul territory. But Joe Smith is hosting a charity fundraiser tonight for a organization called Healthcare HD, and you can check it out on this web at healthcarehd.com. Joe's mother, Lee, was diagnosed with Huntington's disease in February of 2012. And her mother, Joe's grandmother, also suffered from the disease, and they have made an effort to raise some awareness and raise some funds to fight the disease.
So they have a big fundraiser tonight. They're teamed up with the Cleveland Clinic. This is their first one. It's going to be here in Cleveland. Joe's going to stick around after the ball game and then catch a later flight tonight. I think Dominic Leone is going to stick around also and help him out for his foundation. If you're interested in donating to the foundation, go to healthcarehd.com. HealthCureHD.com, excuse me. And it's something that he's very passionate about.
He's got some of the Indians players joining him. Some of the Cleveland Browns will attend, and some of the local personalities, television and radio personalities, will also attend. Expects to have around 400 people in attendance tonight, and there'll be a dinner, a live auction, and a silent auction. So good luck with that, Joe and Allie. Brandon Geyer strikes out. That's what Joe was doing before the injury, striking out a lot of hitters. Let's check in with Arash Madani.
Well, Buck, you mentioned how close Joe is with his mother, who's dealing with the disease. While a lot of ball players go to warmer climates in the offseason, Joe is settled 45 minutes south of Cleveland. He says, look, I want to be around the family. I want to be around my mom, and I can get my hunting down there too. Joe likes to hunt in the offseason, so staying close to home means a lot to Big 38.
Absolutely, and he is back and looks like he's throwing the ball well again. 2 up, 2 down for Smith here in the 7th. Throws a strike to Abraham Almonte.
Joe pitched for the Indians for a couple of seasons, so he knows everybody here. He got a chance to visit with everyone.
That's a fair ball. It's going to go down into the corner in right. Bautista plays it back in. Almonte with his first hit of the afternoon. It's a double, his 5th of the season.
Well, he is very familiar with this ballpark and this mound until that base hit. 2 up, 2 down. Now he leaves a fastball out over the middle of the plate, and Almonte, who's had a good series against the Blue Jays. Home run here earlier this series. Now picks up his first hit of the afternoon, an extra base hit.
Yan Gomes has grounded out 3 times. Grounded out to third, grounded out to short, and grounded out back to the mound. But Gomes can draw a measure of satisfaction from the work he has done with Corey Kluber. Kluber with 12 strikeouts for his 2nd consecutive game.
Llanos also caught in yesterday's game, did a fantastic job with Danny Salazar. Salazar, he kept pumping fastballs by the Blue Jays. Homer's got this day game after a night game.
Three and 0 to Gomes. Smith trying to regroup. He retired the first 2 quickly this inning and then gave up the double to Almonte. Now he's behind 3 and 0. There's a strike. Now it's 3-2. Gomes just turned 30 years old on the 19th of July. As we mentioned, he started out his career with the Blue Jays. He was drafted, played at the University of Tennessee. Was born in Brazil. And he was kind of backed up in the Blue Jays system. Didn't get a chance to play a lot. Breaking ball fouled out.
Yeah, he was in Double-A when he came to big league camp for the first time.
Basically, he was splitting time with Travis d'Ormeau in Double-A, and I don't know that the Blue Jays really knew what they had in Yan Gomes. Hadn't seen him an awful lot before they traded him here to Cleveland.
He's a wonderful athlete. He can play different positions for the Blue Jays. He played some first, he played some third. He also played a game in the outfield.
Base hit up the middle, and Monte's going to come around to score. Gomes picks up his first hit of the afternoon and drives in a run. His 23rd RBI.
On top of being the best throwing catcher in the American League, he's throwing out 45% of the base runners trying to steal. He's not a great catcher, certainly on average. He can hit a little bit. Comes up with a clutch hit there. 3-2, fouls off the 3-2 slider, then gets a fastball. Bangs it back through the middle to drive in a run. That's hit number 11, run number 8 this afternoon for Cleveland.
Gomes had 21 home runs and 74 RBIs in 2014 for Cleveland. Third baseman Giovanni Urshela. Pulled foul. Urshela is 1 for 3. He scored a run. A ball and 2 strikes on the Indians' third baseman.
Said the Indians weren't hitting the baseball. They went out on the West Coast, went 1-5 against the 2 last place teams out there, Oakland and San Francisco. They haven't looked anything like that, have they, in this series?
Not at all. They scored 13 runs on 15 hits in the opener on Friday night. They were outscored on that 6-game road trip 27-16. And they very easily could have lost all 6 games. Were it not for a Matt Moore error and a miscue on a comebacker to the mound.
Just can't finish him off with that breaking ball. That's 3 in a row to him. And Urshela each time has just barely gotten a piece of it.
Prior to his shoulder issues, Joe Smith was throwing pitches exactly where he wanted them. He was really commanding the strike zone.
Fastballs in with some movement into righties and then sweep that breaking ball away. Not a bad pitch.
Pulled foul. Yeah, I'm with you. When you look at this Indians lineup, you say, well, how did they struggle so badly on the West Coast against Oakland and San Francisco, 2 of the worst teams in baseball? But they have shown their true colors here in this series.
They are hitting with runners in scoring position. They are showing power. They're putting up some tough ABs. There's another foul. And remember, they're missing 2 of their regulars. The regular everyday players, Lonnie Chisenhall, Jason Kipnis, not in this lineup.
Montero is checking with the home plate umpire as to whether or not indeed that was a foul tip, and it looked like it. And Scott Berry said it did. Take a look at this check swing. Yeah, he certainly deflected it. Montero wasn't really sure. Fly ball down the right field line. Barney giving chase, and he's not going to get there. The ball landed in no man's land, just not deep enough for Bautista, nor high enough for Barney.
Ball just kept going away from Barney like it was blown away from him. He did everything he could and run that thing down. Slides on that tartan turf surface. Giving up his body trying to make that catch. What looked like an easy inning. First two guys go out very quickly. Is now turned into a long one. This is going to be pitch number 24 of this inning.
Three and two, 2 outs. Catcher Yan Gomes at first will be moving on the pitch. This all started with 2 outs, a double by Almonte, an RBI single by Gomes. There goes the runner, and Urshela strikes out to end the inning, but the Indians add a run in the bottom of the 7th. We'll go to the 8th. 8-1 Cleveland.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Versatach. Meet our ultimate yard work companion with up to 7 interchangeable attachments.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon in Cleveland. Eric Gonzalez comes on defensively to take over at shortstop for Francisco Lindor. Abraham Almonte started in center. He moves the left. Michael Brantley's out of the game. The rookie Bradley Zimmer takes over defensively in center field. Corey Kluber comes back out to start the 8th. Remember, Kluber is pitching on extra rest. He last pitched on Saturday, July 15th out in Oakland against the A's. Threw 106 pitches in that ball game. He's thrown 101 to this point this afternoon. Darwin Barney is the only starter in the Blue Jays lineup that hasn't struck out against Kluber today. He is 1 for 2 with a single.
Pitched into the 8th inning his last time in Oakland. That game you were just talking about 7 days ago. 12 strikeouts in that game, 12 this afternoon.
If you're wondering about his career high in strikeouts, it's 18. And it happened in 2015 against the Cardinals, May 13th. 2015, he struck out 18. That's his career high. Barney with a 1-2 count. And he strikes out. Now Kluber has gotten everyone in the Blue Jays lineup on strikes this afternoon. Strikeout number 13.
Home plate umpire Ed Hickok says that that was a foul tip. No argument from Darwin. Another sharp, late-breaking slider. And he called that a foul tip.
148 strikeouts for Kluber on the season. Blue Jays just 1 run on 5 hits.
Blue Jays struck out 10 times yesterday. 8 by Salazar, 2 by Miller. More of the same this afternoon.
It's the 6th time in 10 games on this road trip the Blue Jays have struck out 10 or more times. Difficult to put any rallies together when there's so many strikeouts. Breaking ball in the dirt. Kluber's been in the strike zone all afternoon. He's thrown 75 strikes, just 34 balls. And he's used all of his pitches to throw strikes.
Still has a little left there at 94 miles an hour fastball. And just in case, that's Nick Goody warming up for the Indians.
3-2. Bautista strikes out for a 3rd time. 14 Ks for Corey Kluber.
He has been able to take that breaking ball, especially to the right-handers, and just place it on the outside corner with some movement. You see how he steps across his body and crossfires that thing. It's a very difficult angle for a right-handed hitter to square that thing up, and able to put it right on the outside corner all afternoon long.
Josh Donaldson is 1 for 3. Three singles and a home run. That's all that Kluber has allowed this afternoon. Donaldson single, Pierce single, Morales single, and Barney single. Pilar hit the home run. Called for the swing.
I think he is asking the home plate umpire. He's saying, is that a swing or are you calling that a strike? It was borderline.
Kluber with 14 strikeouts. It's the 4th time he has recorded 14 strikeouts in a game. That's his 2nd highest total. His last 14 strikeout game came July 2nd, 2015. Donaldson had asked for time. Josh got a piece of it to stay alive. Kluber is 7-3 for the season.
June the 1st, they hit 160 against him. 14 strikeouts today gives him 108 and 1 walk. That's 12 walks since June the 1st. He has been dominant.
Kluber's ERA is down to 2.74. He came in at 2.86. Breaking ball in the dirt. Full count. Chris Sale leads the American League with a 2.48 earned run average. Then Kluber is second. Stroman is third. Marcus dropped his ERA under 3. With a great effort last night, Stroman stands at 2.98. Great job by Donaldson to spoil that breaking ball.
Yeah, it's just a check swing, just not picking up that late breaker. Just as good as we have seen Corey Kluber. I told you coming into this game, his numbers against the Blue Jays in his career haven't been very good.
He came in with the highest earned run average against any opponent, over 5.
Over 5 and a losing record. Not this afternoon.
Donaldson walks. He walks on the 3-2 pitch, and that's going to do it for Corey Kluber. Terry Francona has popped out of the Indians dugout, and Kluber will leave with 2 outs in the 8th. Kluber with a season-high 14 strikeouts. We'll hear it from the home crowd.
Has asked fans to submit their ultimate baseball dream. And for a lucky few, Rogers is making their dreams come true this July. See how at RogersCelebrates.com or follow #BaseballDreams.
A lot of Blue Jay fans on hand for this weekend series here in Cleveland. Look at the smaller crowd today, just 30,701. And Nick Goody will take over for Corey Kluber with a man at first and 2 outs.
Nick Goody began the season in the minor leagues in their AAA affiliate Columbus. He had 3 relief outings, all scoreless, struck out 10 of the 17 batters faced, and said, hey, we better get this guy to the big leagues. And here he is. He's done a good job. 1-1, 204 earned run average. His fastball is about 88 to 94 miles an hour. There's some swing and miss into that, and he's got a nice little slider. They picked Goody up from the Yankees in December.
Donaldson's taking off for second. They won't pay any attention to him, and he'll go back on the foul ball off the bat of Justin Smoke. Smokey is 0 for 2 with a walk. The only walk issued by Corey Kluber all afternoon came with 1 out in the 6th. Check that. Donaldson just walked in the last batter. 2 walks, 14 strikeouts for Corey Kluber. Hopped up. Foul territory. Long run for the third baseman, Urshela. And he bobbled it, but's able to make the catch as he falls up against the wall. That ends the inning. Goody gets out of it. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's all Cleveland. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio. On Friday, they pushed his start back because of a stiff neck. Well, he doesn't have a stiff neck anymore. 7 2/3, 120 pitches over those 7 2/3 innings. He allowed just 5 hits. He only run a home run issued to Kevin Pillar. He walked 2. Final batter he faced, Josh Donaldson, was the second walk, and he struck out 14 batters for the 4th time in his career. Chris Smith will make his 2nd appearance for the Blue Jays this season.
Yeah, he was up earlier. He just had his contract selected by the Blue Jays on the 22nd, a couple of days ago, from Buffalo, and then activated to the roster. 1-3 record, 443 earned run average in AAA this season. He has also pitched in A-ball just a little bit, so he will get an inning here this afternoon. Also playing an inning will be Ezequiel Carrera, who was taken over in right field from Jose Bautista. Jose out of the ball game. Carrera gets an inning against his former team.
So Chris Smith, he made his one and only major league appearance against the Orioles on June 27th. He pitched the 9th inning, and he faced Joey Rickard, Paul Yanish, Craig Gentry, and Manny Machado. He gave up a 2-out single to Craig Gentry and then got Machado to pop out his only big league inning. Look at the top of the order here in the 8th. Carlos Santana. He's 1 for 3. He has walked and scored a couple of runs. He started off the ball game with a single in the 1st inning and came around to score the 1st run for Cleveland. The Indians lead it 8-1. 8 runs on 11 hits. The Blue Jays have 1 run on 5 hits. The Jays have committed the only error in this game. This is popped up. Donaldson near short makes the catch.
Happy 150th to our home and native land. Honda, proudly driving Canadians since 1973.
The Indians on the verge of sweeping the 3-game series against the Blue Jays to maintain their lead in the American League Central Division. They will also improve their record at home to 24-24. They had been under 500 at home. Kind of unusual for a first-place team to have a losing record at home.
Yeah, we talked about that the first day here, where you're saying, well, we hope Edwin Encarnacion, we hope he does well, but just wait for 3 days until the Blue Jays leave town. And we also talked about their inability to win at home. Well, if they hold on and win this one, they'll be 500 at home. 6 games over 500 on the road.
Well, Gonzalez batting for the first time. He took over defensively for Francisco Lindor. He grounds out to Goins at short.
It doesn't get any easier, I think, for the Indians. They're going to have a very tough August coming up for them. They've got to play Boston for 4 games, Tampa Bay for 4 games. They've got a 4-game series with the Yankees. Kansas City, they play them twice. Home and home with Kansas City, and they're right on their tail. Minnesota, they got a 3-game series with them, and they've got another series against the Yankees. So it doesn't get any easier for them.
Nope. And you got to be good teams if you're going to win divisions and get into the postseason. Of course, the Indians don't have Jason Kipnis there on the left of your screen. He and Lonnie Chisenhall still disabled, and they're 2 regulars that they have missed. Bradley Zimmer hits it high and deep to right field and off the wall. Zimmer cruises to second in his first plate appearance. It's forward defensively in center, batting in the 3rd spot on this lineup, and he gets a 2-out double.
Been struggling just a little bit, so Terry Francona gave him the afternoon off against the left-handed pitching Jay Happ, and he makes an appearance and gets himself a double. You know, when they made that big trade last season with the Yankees, when Andrew Miller came here, the Yankees had a choice: Frazier or Zimmer. Which one do you want to take? They took Frazier and left the Indians with Zimmer.
Hard to fathom that the Yankees wouldn't have taken the left-handed hitter to put him in Yankee Stadium.
In that ballpark, you're right.
Can you imagine Zimmer playing center and Judge playing right? Zimmer's 6'5" and runs like a deer.
I'm sure they asked for both of them. And the Indians said, you got to choose between one or the other. And they chose Frazier.
Not knowing any of the background about the trade, I would have taken Zimmer just on the fact he's a left-handed hitter.
In that ballpark.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
If they had the choice. 2 outs. Edwin Encarnacion relatively quiet this afternoon. He's 1 for 3 with a single. Big difference in this game. Once again, the Blue Jays problems with runners in scoring position. In this ball game to this point, they've gone 1 for 17, while the Indians have hit 400. 12 for 30 with runners in scoring position. The Indians have had 2 4-run innings and an 8-run inning in this series. Three and 1. Smith to Encarnacion. Got a check swing foul. Now it's a full count.
3 more doubles this afternoon for the Indians. And you talk about hitting with runners in scoring position. Doubles leave them in scoring position.
3-2. Ball inside, ball 4. So Chris Smith, after getting the first 2 out, has given up a double, now will walk with 2 outs. Smith was a position player in college. He played college baseball at Kentucky Wesleyan College. He started out playing shortstop his first 2 seasons, then moved to center field. And he also pitched. They were short on pitchers, and he needed some arms, and they asked me if I would pitch, and he developed himself into a pitcher.
Quickest way at the big leagues, isn't it? If you're a pitcher, you can get somebody out. If you've been blessed with a good arm, you throw hard, you're going to be in the big leagues.
Ball and a strike to Jose Ramirez. Ramirez is 0 for 3. Smith last pitched on Monday, ironically against the AAA club for the Indians, Columbus. It's just 2/3 of an inning. Foul into the seats.
Quick phone call down to the AAA team to get a scouting report on him. You know that happens all the time.
Another full count. Missed with that fastball away. 8-1 Cleveland. They won the opener 13-3. They had a walk-off home run in the 10th inning from Francisco Lindor in last night's game, and they have an 8-1 lead this afternoon. Pop down the right side, and that's going to be well out of play.
Swung at possibly ball 4 on a pitch down and in. Held this guy quiet. This is the guy who really stuck it to the Blue Jays last year with a couple of big home runs.
2 hits in the opener, 2 hits last night, and so far today he's 0 for 3 with a walk. Fly ball to center. Millard ranging back just at the edge of the warning track, makes the catch, and that ends the inning. The Indians get a double and a walk. They strand a pair. Will go to the ninth. Cleveland with an 8-1 lead. 11 in the month of July, and you can see they've had some lopsided losses. Although in this month they've lost 15-1 to the Red Sox, 12-2 to the Astros, and 19-1 to the Astros. Both the Boston 15-1 game and the 19-1 Astros game came on Sunday at Rogers Center. They lost 11-1 at Detroit and 13-3 here Friday night, and they trail 8-1 this afternoon here in Cleveland. There have been some blowouts at the hands of the Blue Jays in this month of July.
That's called piling on, and we've seen that from the opposition against the Blue Jays. They piled on them this month. Tyler Olson, his second outing since being recalled just the other day. He got into Friday night's game, faced one batter, faced Steve Pearce, hit him, and then he was out of the ball game. They would go on to score 8 runs and blow that game open. There are his numbers in 33 games in AAA. They needed a second left-hander in the bullpen. Tyler Olson is the guy with Andrew Miller.
Kendrys Morales, he has one of the Blue Jays' 5 hits, a single in the 6th. You're wondering about the Blue Jays and all those lopsided games. The Jays have the second worst earned run average in the month of July in all of baseball. Only the White Sox have a higher earned run average than the Blue Jays. The Jays for the month pitching to a .584 earned run average, while the White Sox ERA is .608.
And they are rebuilding, the White Sox. A lot of players on that team, I have no idea who they are.
Morales picks up another base hit, a single to right. He's 2 for 4. So here is Steve Pearce. You mentioned Olson faced Pearce on Friday night and hit him with a pitch, the only batter he faced. He came in that game in the 6th inning, hit Pearce, and then gave way to Brian Shaw, who came in and had 2 very good innings.
Doesn't throw very hard. A lot of breaking balls from Olson. He is on the roster. Boone Logan was the other left-hander down in the bullpen for the Indians, but he tore a lat muscle the other day.
He's going to be out for a while. Yep. He's not coming back from that anytime soon.
They had a choice between Olson and Ryan Merritt. Danny Salazar came off the disabled list yesterday, and they chose to send Merritt down to the minor leagues. Keep Olson. Olson's tough on lefties.
Well, let's face it, anytime they need a left-hander in a crucial situation, it's going to be Andrew Miller.
Yeah.
They probably want Ryan Merritt to start in the minor leagues as insurance against any possible injury to the rotation here in the majors. Pearce chases that breaking ball and strikes out. 15 strikeouts by the Blue Jays this afternoon. Catcher Miguel Montero for 3. Breaking ball for strike 1. Strike 2. Off the end of the bat. Gonzalez to Ramirez, back to first, and that's the ball game. The Indians sweep the Blue Jays in the 3-game series, and even their home records at 24-4.
Well, this was about pitching the last couple of days. Manny Salazar yesterday gave them 7 good innings, a hit, and 8 strikeouts. Today, Corey Kluber was even better, pitched into the 8th inning, 5 hits, 14 punch-outs. The Indians, after a 1-5 road trip out to California, come home, and it looks like they are getting onto a roll as they sweep the Blue Jays. Blue Jays will head home and start a big series against Oakland tomorrow night.
Got to regroup and regroup quickly. The Blue Jays fall to 44-54, 10 games under. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night. Here's Blue Jays Central. Jamie and Greg, take it away.